Hello, everyone, and welcome to CC16 and J3 and Stripes API Night. Welcome!皆さん、こんばんは。今日はコードクリスタリス、CC16 と CC-J3 のストライプコラボレーションの API ナイトにお越しくださり、ご覧いただきありがとうございます。Okay, hello everyone out there who's watching us. Thank you for staying home and staying warm. And please snuggle up, grab something warm to drink, and get ready to enjoy the presentations you're going to see tonight. はい、皆さん、オンラインでご覧いただいていると思いますが、ご自宅で暖かくして、皆さんぜひ彼らのプレゼンテーションをしていただければなと思います。Okay, I saw many of you yesterday night, but just for some of you who might be new to our community, my name is Heather. I'm the program lead for the Immersive. I'm joined here by my wonderful colleague Eriko, who is the instructor for the Japanese Immersive. I will be commenting tonight in English, followed by Eriko, who will be commenting in Japanese. 自己紹介をまず最初にさせていただきたいと思います。私は、日本語イマーシブのインストラクターを行っているエリコと申します。今日は私が日本語で、そしてヘザーが英語で MC を務めさせていただきますので、どうぞよろしくお願いします。Okay, so the apps that you are going to see tonight were built using Stripe's APIs in about 3.5 days, which is pretty dang impressive. はい、今日のプレゼンテーションは彼らがたったの3日半でアイデア出しからアプリの作成、そしてプレゼンテーションの準備まで行ってくれたアプリについて、プレゼンテーションを行っていただきたいと思います。Okay, so before we jump into the demos the students have to show you tonight, we are going to be joined by Daniel Heffernan, who is the representative director of Stripe Japan. And so he's going to be giving us a quick introduction to Stripe. And really, really big thanks to Daniel again for doing this project with us, not once, but twice. Lots of help, lots of feedback given. Really, really appreciate it. 生徒たちのプレゼンテーションに入る前に、今回本当にお世話になったストライプジャパン、代表取締役のダニエルさんにストライプ API について少しご紹介いただきたいと思います。今回の API ナイトでは本当にストライプのダニエルさんにはお世話になって本当にありがとうございました。では、ダニエルさんよろしいでしょうか。
はい、大丈夫です。
では、よろしくお願いします。
Hello everyone. I'll just quickly introduce us through to a little bit about Stripe, and then we'll let us get to the students and their fantastic presentations, which I'm so excited to see. Let me start off with a little bit of a self-introduction. My name is Daniel. I was born in Ireland. I graduated from the University of Tokyo, and previously I was working at Cookpad as a full stack engineer, and joined Stripe 2014, this almost 7 years ago. 皆さんはじめまして、ストライプのダニエルと申します。アイルランド生まれ、東京大学卒業で、それからクックパッドにエンジニアとして入社をして、で、これ一番直近です。2014年にストライプに入社をして、そろそろ7年目になります。Stripe's mission is to increase the GDP of the internet. This might seem a little bit opaque, but the idea is that we aren't out to try and take as much of the online commerce pie as possible from competitors. The idea is that by providing tools that developers and entrepreneurs need, we'll be able to enable new businesses and grow the size of the internet economy itself. 会社のミッションなんですけれども、インターネットの GDP を増やすと謳ってます。これちょっと不透明かもしれないんですけれども、電子商取引の市場を他社から自分たちのものにするっていう考えではなくて、必要なツールとかを提供することによって、アントレプニュア、開発者がもっとやりやすく起業したりして、インターネットの市場そのもの、大きくしていくという方針です。Let me introduce Stripe a little bit by going back to 2007. ちょっと2007年に遡ります。This is when Twitter started to come around and when there was rumors of this iPhone coming around. これは Twitter が爆発的に、世の中に出てきた年ですし、iPhone というものが出るという噂が広まっている時代でした。And at the time, our founders were working on a SaaS product. It was called Optimatic, and it was a tool to allow eBay power sellers manage their auctions. 当時は弊社の、創業者になる2人が、オークトマティックという SaaS サービスを作っていました。これは eBay のパワーセラーがオークション管理ツールとして、使っていただくイメージのものでした。At the time, the biggest problem was not actually getting the infrastructure set up or writing the code, but it was really about how to get paid for the product when they were ready to sell it. 当時は物を作って世の中に出す分には特に技術的なハードルはなかったんですけれども、一番意外と難しかったところが、決済の取り扱いのところでした。And this is kind of what a payment page or sort of a payment service provider's website looked like at the time. You've got a lot of information and you have to fill out all these forms before you can even get to figuring out how to get started. 当時の決済会社です、決済事業者だとこういう体験でもうたくさんの情報があって使用書とか手に入れるのに、こういう問い合わせフォームとかを通してじゃないと手に入らなかった。And PayPal was of course around at the time, but even back then, PayPal was about if you wanted to get started with PayPal, you'd have to get a 466-page PDF, which would describe how to integrate the API. PayPal という選択肢もあったんですけれども、当時の PayPal ですと、466枚の PDF で使用書が来て、それもなんとか頑張って API 導入しないといけないという状況でした。So in 2009, Patrick, one of our co-founders, got started writing Stripe. それで2019年、パトリックという創業者が、コードを書き始めました。And fast forward to now, these are some of our more global brands. I think there are a lot of ones here that people are familiar with, but these are the types of companies that are using Stripe worldwide. 今まで、2020年の話になると、こういった世界的な、大規模大企業が Stripe を導入しています。And if we zoom in on Japan, we can see some of the users here. There's a big variety here from large enterprise companies like ANA and Nikkei, down to smaller, fast-moving startups like Smart HR. これは日本のユーザーの導入事例なんですけれども、ANA とか日経のような大企業からもっとちっちゃいスタートアップ、スマート HR のようなスタートアップまで導入いただいております。And just a little note on the structure of the product. At its core, we have our payments platform. And then on top of that, we have on our software layer a variety of different products that are closer to the business logic. So for example, if you're building a marketplace, you might be interested in Stripe Connect. If you're doing cross-border e-commerce and you're interested in protecting yourself against fraud, Radar is there to help you. And if you're doing some sort of subscription business, whether that's SaaS or consumer subscriptions, Stripe Billing is there to provide the tooling that you need. この決済基盤の上にソフトウェアレアにいくつかサービスを提供しております。例えばですけれども、マーケットプレイスやプラットフォームを運営していれば、コネクトを導入いただくことがいいかなと思います。それから、例えば越境 EC ですと、不正使用がたくさん発生しがちですので、データを使って不正使用の対策をしていただくこともあり得ます。それから、サブスクリプションビジネスは最近増えていると思うんですけれども、SaaS 企業ですとか B2C 向けのサブスクビジネスもビリングを導入いただくと非常にやりやすいのかなと思います。We're hiring. If you're interested, please go to stripe.com/jobs and take a look and let me know if there's anything that you're interested in or apply directly from the homepage. もう大募集中です。もしstripe.com それは jobs を見ていただいて気になるポジションなどがありましたらお声かけいただくか、もしくはそのまま応募いただければと思います。That's all from me. Please say hello, which is hard to do on Zoom. That's my Twitter handle there, or I'm Daniel@stripe.com, and I'll be on this Zoom call for the rest of the night. So looking forward to talking to some people. 私の方からは以上になりますが、ぜひお声かけください。ちょっと Zoom という形ですと難しいと思うんですけれども、ここの Twitter ハンドル載せてますし、daniel@stripe.com にもご連絡いただければと思います。ご連絡をお待ちしております。Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Daniel. That was great. So up first, I'm going to invite Team Floppy Discs to the stage to get set up. Okay, welcome. プレゼンテーションに移りたいと思います。最初のチームはフロッピーディスクスというチーム名の皆さんです。
Okay, Team Floppy Discs is going to be presenting an app called Time Machine, which is going to make retro hobby collecting fun and easy for everyone. So let's give it up for Team Floppy Discs.
彼らはレトロゲームのコレクターに最適なアプリ、タイムマシーンというアプリを作ってくれたそうなんですが、さてどういうアプリを作ってくれたか、早速、プレゼンテーションに移りたいんですが、マイクをします。
We're being a little bit extra careful again tonight, so please do excuse us for our constant mic wiping. All right, give it up for Team Floppy Discs.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So, we will start. We are Team Floppy Disk, the awesome Team Floppy Disk. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, so let's start. So, we're going to introduce Time Machine to you today. So, what is Time Machine? Well, it's a way to, before we had fantastic games that are called retro games now. But nowadays, it's a little hard to get those games, right? So Time Machine is a place where you can find and buy those games and also sell them. So let's introduce our team. We have 4 members in our team. First, we have Yuta, who is our tech lead, and he was taking care of the back end, with Nada, who is also in the back end. Then we have my friend here, Damien, who was taking care of the front end, and yours truly, Francis, taking care of the front end. Our team identity. So basically, our goal, as Heather mentioned earlier, is to make retro hobby collecting easy and fun for everyone. Direct, without complication. So here are some of our user stories. So who and what situation you would use our app. So first, let's say you have an extra NES game, Nintendo game. Then you would just log into your account. Then you can easily post this game and find maybe a potential buyer and get money out of it. Another story would be you want to find a rare game and add it to your collection. Well, you can easily search for that game in the search bar and see if someone is selling it right now, and you can buy it right away without any login. Then this is our persona. So who is our target audience? So he's born in the 80s. His name is Mike Thunder Livingston. He's a Marvel comic fan. Not the movies, just the comics. Don't mention movies to him. He also never plays newer game. And is really about the 90s JRPGs, because they're awesome. He's still single and working on it. He's a programmer and he loves Mountain Dew. He's looking for rare games all the time. And he's been rocking that mane since '85. So he's our perfect customer. So what do we offer? Well, it's a marketplace where we can sell and buy games. And to each other. So there's 2 main targets. Of course, the buyer, which sees a list of games, can search games, see the game detail, and can buy a game. And the sellers, well, they can sign up, log in, and go to their own dashboard and upload this item and sell it. Sorry, Damien, I got this game here that I try to sell it on like eBay and like all those other stuff, but it's way too there's too much information.
Francis, no. You don't want to use eBay or anything like that.
Oh, really?
I've got a really good website to show you.
Oh, yeah, please.
Have a look at this. The website's called Time Machine. So when users first go to our website, they're greeted with this great retro vibe. This was implemented with nest.css, which is a great CSS library that I highly recommend. So on the home screen, we have a list of games that are for sale from various sellers. Francis, is there anything you're interested in?
Well, I like Dragon Warrior. I don't know if they have it there.
Dragon Warrior. Shall we have a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
We do have it. And actually, that's right. I'm selling it.
Damn, you're really greedy.
I am.
Okay.
What do you think?
The condition is bad. I don't know.
You ever think about it?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay. So on our homepage, we have a sign up and login button. So to sell something on our website, we need to first make an account. So I have an account already made, so I'll show you what that looks like. So mario@mario.com, password. Okey-doke. So when we log in, we're directed to a dashboard. Here, if a user already has a Stripe account, and we click this Stripe button up the top, they will get directed to their Express page. Or if they don't have a Stripe account, they will get directed to a page where they can create a Stripe account. This user has a Stripe account, so if we click this, they will be directed to their Express page where they can see their balance and other things. So, as a user, they're allowed to add games. So, Francis, you wanted to sell a game?
Yeah, I would like to sell like Dragon Quest 6.
Dragon Quest. What was it? 6.
6, yeah.
Okay. How much?
I'm not as greedy as you, so I guess like I would say 1,000 yen.
1,000 yen? Okay. Okay. Lucky for you, I've got an image ready to go.
Damn, you're perfect, man.
And the condition. Let's have a look at that.
Dude, that's pretty bad. It's like yellow and yeah. And I would give it like a solid D.
Okay.
Solid D.
So let's submit that. Go back to the homepage, and it's up for sale.
Oh, that's simple.
That simple.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So let's try, and as a user, we can refresh that, and let's buy a game. What game would you like to buy?
I'll buy your game. It's a little pricey, but it's okay. Dragon Warrior will be fine.
Dragon Warrior.
Oh, that's mine. I don't want.
Actually, you know what? How about I buy your game?
Okay, you'll buy mine. Cool.
Here we go. So the great thing about Stripe is you don't need a user account to actually buy a game. So here, all you have to do is click Buy Now, and you'll get directed to this, and you can easily pay for that. So let's do that. Enter in some credit card information.
It's that easy. Wow.
That easy.
Crazy.
Name on card. Let's go with test. So let's pay that. And there we go, simple as that. I have a browser open. So this is the account, the seller account. As you can see here, that's not reflected. But if I press refresh, we should see an 1,000 yen payment there. And there it is. Payment succeeded. So how did we implement all of this? We deployed on Heroku. The front end was made with React, and in the back end we had we used Postgres and used Connects for the queries. And of course, this couldn't happen without using the Stripe API, especially the checkout and connect functionality. So Connect let us have multiple sellers on our marketplace. It's quite easy to implement. Each of those sellers have their own dashboard as well, which is a great feature. It also let us pay out to those sellers. So once a payment is made, they do get paid out at a certain time. As I said before, the sellers, they have their own dashboard, so they can track their own payments. And we also implemented checkout, which I showed you before, which makes payments very easy. So on to the back end with Yuta.
Hello, this is Yuta. I'm going to explain how backend system supports this transaction. In the marketplace, there's a lot of information exchanged. Backend mission is how we organize those information and deliver to the right place. In order to make the commercial transaction, a marketplace should have 3 sets of information. First one is buyer seller information that should have name, address, and phone number, and so on. And second one is item information that should include a product name, a price, a condition, and so on. And third one is payment information. In this case, Stripe ID. If we don't have ID, we cannot send money or even we cannot receive money. So this is the most important part. Next. In order to manage those important information, our site has connection with Stripe and the original Postgres database. Stripe manages the entire payment information, and our database has 2 tables, and each one manages the item list and customer authentication. Next. Another important factor is customer interactions. In your website, we have 2 types of customers. One is buyer, another is seller. Each type of customers behave as totally different. Also, each one needs a different type of information. So our backend has to give the correct information for different customer interactions that comes at different timing. Next. This is an image how information are exchanged between users and the system. In your website, when visitors arrive at our website, visitors will be separated into buyer and the seller by our system. And then each function gives back a different response to buyer or seller's interactions on our site. Based on the backend response, front end will switch the view so that the buyer and the seller can access to the correct information and complete the transaction. This is how backend works in the entire process. On next slide, now I will explain how authentication system works. Thank you.
So in this part, I will talk briefly about authentication and authorization. As you saw in the demo, and as Yuta mentioned, we have 2 types of users, the buyers and the sellers. The buyers will be able to buy items without the need for registration because we trust Stripe to handle the purchase information and process for us. So this way, it's less complicated and faster to buy for the buyer because the buyer will mostly use our web app to find and buy rare items. As for the other case, which is the seller, our app designates the seller by registration, authorizing them to sign in with their dashboard, where they can add items for sale and to create and access their own Stripe accounts. Now, the seller registration not only allow the designated seller to access their own page and their Stripe account, but it will also keep the seller identity for future implementation, such as rating the seller to encourage them to keep up with their reputation. As for authentication authorization, we use JSON Web Token technology for authentication. So the seller had to be registered using name, email, password, where the password is hashed with bcrypt. After authentication is successful using the correct credentials, authorization should take place, and a JSON Web Token will be returned instead of the traditional approach of creating sessions in the server and returning the cookies. And this will improve the user privacy. We believe that there are a lot of future potential capabilities in this app, which will be explained by Damien next.
Future development of the app. There's lots of features we can implement. The main ones that we really want to do, of course, a review system for sellers, which is pretty much mandatory for a marketplace. Again, messaging system between buyers and sellers, in case a buyer wants to haggle, get the price down, or check shipping fees and things like that. And an improved seller dashboard where sellers can edit items, change prices and things like that. But other than that, that is our app. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a QR code if you want to check it out. We had a great time making it, and thanks everybody.
Okay, awesome work, Team Floppy Discs. So while we're inviting the next team, World Peacemakers, up to the stage, why don't you guys go ahead and come up, don't be shy.
ありがとうございました。では次はワールドピースメーカーズの皆さんに、プレゼンテーションを行っていただきたいと思います。
Okay, so World Peacemakers are going to be presenting an app in which traditional Japanese culture and modern technology collide. This app is called PrayPay, And it allows you to pray safely and warmly from wherever you are in the world, even your kotatsu.
彼らは最新の技術と日本の伝統をコラボレーションしたプレイペイというアプリを作ってくれたようなんですが、もしこのアプリを使えば人混みを避けていつでもどこでもお参りができるっていうこの季節にすごいぴったりなアプリだと思うので、ぜひ楽しみにプレゼンテーションを聞いてください。では準備はよろしいでしょうか。
Okay, give it up for World Peacemakers.
Good evening, everyone. So we are going to present our amazing product app. It's called PayPay. So remember, it's not PayPay. It's not not PayPay. It's not PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. Yes. So before we go into the detail of our product, please let me introduce our team members. So our team is called World Peacemakers, and as you can see, two people are on the front side, Alex and Yosuke. Yes, they work on the front end, and two people on the back side, Hide, me, and Takuro. We work on the back end side. Yes, and Takuro is also the tech lead and organized and managed everything. Yes, thank you. So, what's this app about? It's about visit shrines online. So, we found this a very big issue and problem. So every year, so many people go to shrine to do the donation and do the pray. Right? But for this year, in this chaos situation, we need to stay home. We need to stay safe, and by this product, we are providing this new standard of visiting shrine, which is you can visit shrine and pray online. Yes, so I'm gonna talk about our personas. We have two personas. One is the buyer persona. His name is Yamato Samiya-san, very traditional Japanese name. And he is currently working in Osaka, but his hometown is Tokyo. And he every year he goes back to his hometown to visit his family, and he goes to visit the shrine to for the praying. But let me talk about his family. He's married and he has one child, and his wife is also pregnant. And he's really worried about this situation, and he really cares about his family. But so one thing he's really とても困ってる。He wants to go to visit shrine, but he also afraid of brings his family to a crowded area. And yes, he also loves opportunity. And on the seller side, we have this persona. His name is Kamichika Mamoru-san. He works in a shrine. And currently, his father and grandfather is running this shrine, but he just joined this shrine 1 year ago. And his shrine has this history of over 300 years, very long history. And yes, he's worried about this corona situation as well. And he thinks this, Japanese traditional shrine needs to be digital transformed in some way. And he also hopes the world peace. And yes, this is the basic flow of our product. So it's very simple. The users can choose what device they want to use. They can choose either PC or the phone, and they can just input the amount they want to donate, and this transaction just goes through the Stripe API. And after the shrine get the payments, they can pay online. Now I'm going to give forward to Yosuke to talk about the demo.
Okay. Thank you, Hide. So, 早速デモ始めていきたいと思います。
これが私たちのアプリのメインページです。Pretty simple。参拝ボタンとおみくじボタンとアバウトボタンがあります。じゃあ早速参拝に行ってみたいと思います。もうワンクリックしただけでお賽銭箱の前に来ることができました。これが私たちが提案したい新しいニューノーマル、ニュースタンダードです。
楽ちん。
楽ちんです。バーチャルといってもお賽銭はしなきゃいけないですよね。ということで早速お賽銭したいと思います。で、枚数を選ぶんですけども、1枚から10枚までは1枚飛びで、100枚、200枚、1000枚と選ぶことができます。通常だったら皆さん1枚とかだったりすると思うんですけど、今日はすごくスペシャルな日なので、ちょっと奮発して1000枚いきたいと思います。5000円。カードで支払っていきます。メールアドレスを入力します。カード情報を入力していきます。1、2、3、4。三宮さんですね。払っていきます。じゃあ、お祈りしたいと思います。じゃあ、そうですね。じゃあ、こんな時期なんで、ここにいる皆さんと、あとオンラインで見てくださっている皆さんの健康と、あと、このプレゼン内でトラブルが起きないように。はい、お参りが完了しました。ということで、お参りが終わった後することといえば、おみくじですよね。じゃあ、おみくじ引きます。200円で引きます。同じプロセスが必要なんですけれども、お賽銭とおみくじを同時に払うことないと思いますので、自然だと思います。同じように情報を入力していって支払います。どんな結果が出るか私たちもわからないんでドキドキしてますけど、どうでしょう。It's gonna be normal year this year. Not bad, not bad. でも以上になります。では続いて私たちが採用したテックスタックについて紹介します。よろしく。
はい、任せてください。I'm going to talk about technique we use. The first is, of course, we use Stripe API. So I was surprised, I could implement the payment form with few lines of code. So that is very amazing. And then the next is the front side. I'm using the React and Material UI. So there are lots of people using the React and Stripe. So I could easily find the setup information, very helpful information. So it's very good. And then for the DB, actually we didn't need a DB this time because the Stripe, the store storage provided by Stripe was sufficient enough. And then finally the server. As you can see, there is no server because this time we choose the serverless architecture, because the serverless architecture makes our apps more stable and cost cheaper. So that's why I choose. And before I'm going to the detail, I wanna explain what serverless is. The serverless is in general has following features. Firstly, no need to manage a server, so literally we don't have to worry about the servers anymore, like managing the servers or updating the server, something like that. And then the next is the scalability. So it automatically scales our service up and down or even to zero because there is no traffic. So it depends on the traffic if the service is up and down. Then the final feature is pay as you go. We just pay for what we use. So I want to explain why need to pay for what we use. So to achieve the serverless architecture, we use the cloud functions that was called like function as a service. It's deployed our code in JS in Google Cloud, and then it's automatically called by HTTP request as if we are calling the API. In this case, we are storing the function to call the Stripe API. And then future is like Google will scale our function to handle the traffic. Yeah, as the traffic increase or decrease, as I said on the previous slide. Then we take a look at the chart. The chart shows the time, the active time of cloud functions. Like the time when the cloud function is running is when the time when we're using the cloud function. So I can say that that time it's running the cloud function is the same as the cost we use. And then the next is finally I can say that why we choose the serverless architecture for our service Pay. So of course we use our app for New Year's season. So it's difficult to predict accurately the number of people. So as you can, if you see the chart, it just shows that people visiting a famous shrine in Osaka. So it seems difficult to predict, isn't it? So in that case, serverless architecture fits very well in the situation. So that's why I choose serverless architecture for our app this time. So I will pass the Alex about
challenge. Thank you, Takuro. So yes, I'll be talking about challenges. We had two distinct types of challenges. Three. The first was in the tech side. It was getting our head around things such as the Stripe API. There's a lot of functionality. We only needed a basic functionality for our application, as you can see. But thankfully, there was a lot of not just documentation, but also examples and example code that we could work through to gain an understanding. The second issue was, obviously, it was our first time using serverless architecture. As you heard from Takuro, it has a lot of benefits, but there was a very large learning curve. On the other side, the business case and viability of our product. So we're really talking about microtransactions of 5 yen potentially. And we could see that the minimum for Stripe in Japan is 50 yen. So we technically couldn't do it. But we reached out to Daniel at Stripe, who you've heard from earlier tonight. And he was able to give us some gated functionality, which meant that we were able to use 5 yen as our minimum on our test account. The other issue, more of a practical real-world issue, is that there are commercial fees involved with using Stripe. And this is it's a donation system. And how would I say this? If there was a fixed fee of, for example, close to 30 cents US on every transaction, you couldn't really send 5 yen easily. We didn't want to impact on the customer and say, hey, donate 5 yen and also pay 30 yen. It impacted on the feeling of the application. So what next? That's what I'm going to talk about now. To start with, this was just a very basic MVP, minimum viable product, to prove the idea. We'd like to expand it out from being many customers paying to one shrine to many shrines that can be searched online and then paid through to. But also we wanted to make sure that there was additional user experiences such as omamori charms. And particularly also we wanted to have a recognition page for customers who paid, make sure that they could see, on a landing page for every shrine. That was sort of an idea we had. And then also we had an idea to maybe outsource to get some more custom graphics to really add to that experience as if you were digitally there in the shrine for real. So yes, as I mentioned before, we wanted to try and get many to many. as an outcome, so many shrines listed on our site, and that customers could go and perhaps use a Google Maps integration to search for the shrine, click on it, and then make a donation. That would be a dream goal for us.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for listening, and then especially teachers and Daniel for helping us about Stripe, and please use our app and play anytime. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Team World Peacemakers. So up next, we are going to have Team Chahan come up to the stage. I will invite you guys. According to our omikuji from last time, this year is going to be a normal year, which is much better than 2020. So maybe we'll be able to go and enjoy some restaurants together. So they are going to present their app to you, Warikan, for people who love eating out but hate splitting the bill. And here's to hoping and praying that we get to get good use out of this app in the next year.
ワールドピースメーカーの皆さんありがとうございました。私も今年来年の3倍使っていきたいなと思います。では次のプレゼンテーターはチームチャーハンの皆さんです。皆さん食事に行ってこう飲み会とか行った後に割り勘するのちょっと面倒くさいって思ったことありますよね。そんな悩みを彼らは解決してくれる素晴らしいアプリを作ってくれました。では準備はよろしいでしょうか。じゃあちょっとマイクに。
Hey! Woo! Team Chahan!
それではチームチャーハンのアプリ、割り勘を紹介したいと思います。まずは最初にこの、チームチャーハン素晴らしいメンバーを紹介したいと思います。まずは、ヘッドシェフ is me さやかです。テックリーダーを務めさせていただきました。Next is front-end team leader 改善&ミッション。フロントエンドを担当してくれました。次はですね、もう今回 API、ストライプ API の大事なところだったエリオットとノートを紹介したいと思うんですけれども、エリオット、キャッシャーisエリオット、very important member, but we're Team Chahan, and we love Chahan very much, and with Nashgoren too. それではですね、今回のアプリを作った私たちのミッションについてちょっと紹介したいと思います。まずはですね、飲食店に行った時に、ある私たちの、悩み、とある悩みについて解消できたらいいなと思いまして、今回アプリ作りたいなと思いました。それ飲食店ということなので、もちろん見るのは、スマホで見ることを考えて作りました。それからですね、大事な、チャーハンコミュニティのサポートをしたいと思いました。チャーハンコミュニティって何だと思いますか？ですね、まずここにちょっと一人、失礼しました。その前にチャーハンコミュニティとはですね、全国に1億人は下らないという日本の大好きチャーハン女子。これを、サポートしたいというコミュニティでございます。まずその代表として一人の女性を紹介したいと思います。彼女の名前はあやかちゃん。 ですが、もう、あやかちゃんと彼女呼ばれていません。常にですね、ねえねえ、割り勘ってさ、ご飯食べに行こうよ、チャーハン食べに行こうよ、と言っているので、もう常に割りちゃんと呼ばれております。で、彼女は一人暮らしで、お金もそんなにないけれども、でも時間はあるので、しょっちゅうお友達といっぱいご飯を食べに行っています。ですが、ちょっと一つだけ悩みがあります。それはですね、割り勘問題です。ですね、この割り勘問題、いっぱいチャーハン食べたと思って、で、いっぱいみんな友達行ったら楽しかったなと思ったけど、最後の最後で、お母ちゃんはめんどくさいなっていう鬱になってしまうんです。これですね、昨日もとある事件がありました。チャーハンいっぱい食べて美味しかったな
本当にすごい、むちゃくちゃ美味しかった。
ねえ、美味しかった。
本当にいつもさ、一番美味しいレストラン見つけてくれてありがとう。
まあね、
まっちゃん、すごい上手。
ね、上手。割り勘なんだけど。
割り勘ね、割りちゃんの方ね。
割り勘、
そうそうそう。いくらかな、いくらかな。
計
算機。今の時代に。あ、そう。うまいけど。
トントン。
まあまあね。しかも大きいんだけどね。そうそう。会社から出てきて。その。始まるから、ライトニングとか始まるから、行かないといけない。また？またですか？じゃあ、ちょっと、買って帰っといて。私、後でちょっと。Me too。
エリーも？
ごめん、ちょっと小銭ないから払っといて。
マジあれなんだけど。ちょっとどういうこと？はい。
大変そうだね。帰ってきてあげたらさ、心配しなくていいの。言うの忘れてた。うん。いいの。There's a great app. This one. 割り勘っていうの。This is called 割り勘。I will talk about it. Okay? So, what is it? So, it's an application created by Team Jahan of CC16 and J3 at Code Chrysalis. And just for 3 days. Isn't it amazing? It's possible, yeah. And the name comes from a Japanese word, warika. It means splitting the bill. Okay? And also, if you look at the word very, very carefully, you see the last 3 letters is C-A-N. That means you can split the bill very, very easily without any hassle. It's true. I will tell you some features. Okay? First, you can get the details of the orders you placed, okay? And you can select the friends that you're eating with, so that you know that who you are splitting the bill with. Yeah. And then this is really important. I think it's not only you in Japan who are having trouble with, collecting money and changing the big bills into small coins. And you don't have to calculate. That's important. Yeah, really true. And then also the payment is by individual member. So no more person running away from you, telling you that I have a meeting, so please pay for me. Okay? So payment will be made individually. Yes. Now, Seitan is going to give you the demonstration. Do you want to see?
Okay, now I do the demo time. So, now this user interface Waricon application is like this. So this one is group setting. So when we come to the restaurant with the friends, so this application has the member of the friends. So now is displayed the 5 people. So I choose the my friend is Elliot and Naoto and Misho and Sayaka. If confirmed the member is 4 people, is the confirm. Then is the the receipt number is 1. Its total is 10,192 yen. It's the so expensive fried rice. If one person is 2,548 yen. Who eat too much the fried rice? Or as in order expensive fried rice, Oh, really? But anyway, so I need to payment. So I click it. So this one can choose the 2,540 ATM is per person. So type of the email address and information, and month and the year, and SSD, and my name is it's the payment. Yeah, it's very simple. It's just done. Very simple is application. Just use the group of member and just push the payment and type of the card number. So now see the transaction is succeed or not. So it's refreshed. Yeah, 2,548 is succeed. Yeah, it's done. It's very simple application. Now demo is over. So now is next slide is Naoto.
Thank you, Kaise, for the demo. And that's a very, very nice app right there. So I'm going back to the slides. Kaise just did a demo, but for more clarity, this is our Waricon app system flow. So our primary users are the merchant, which are the restaurant, and the customer who goes to the restaurant. So we currently don't have a UI for the merchant, but the image is that the restaurant will be inserting information of the receipt whenever a customer buys anything. So you see the receipt 9,000 yen. Other than that, there's going to be the receipt ID, the balance, the order details will be stored in the database. And once that comes into the system, the customer will be able to see that in their app. So the customer will see the price that they need to pay. So for example, Miss Pineapple, Strawberry, Miss Carrot. At the moment, we are calculating by just simply dividing the total balance by the number of the members. So this is very simple. So each customer will be paying 3,000 yen, and that 3,000 yen will be paid to the Stripe account of Waricon, which is our account. And going on to the next slide. So the slide we were talking about before was using a Stripe checkout feature, but in the future, we would definitely like to deploy Stripe Connect. The reason is we would love to transfer that funds that we got from the customers to the merchant, which will be the restaurant. So once the funds are transferred to the restaurant Stripe account, we would also like to deploy a UI for the restaurant to be able to trigger a deposit to their local bank account like that, and we'll actually be able to get the cash on hand. So going on to the next slide, I would like to talk about a little bit of the technical stuff about our database structure. So on the right-hand side, you see a component. You see the user members, such as Elliot, Naoto, Misho, Sayaka, and Kaisei. So that information is being referred from the database that we have from the table customer. And explicitly, we are referring to the column called username. Like that. But other than that, there's the customer ID when the user is created and the status such as active, deactivated, and etc. So that's one of the key table that we are referring to, but we also have another table that we are referring to essentially. And going on to the next slide. So on the right-hand side, this is the payment component. And the users will be able to search for the receipt in the search box. And that search box is referring to the receipt ID in the receipt table. Like that. And once the receipt ID is referred, then also in the receipt table, there is a column called balance, which stores the total balance of the order. And yes, in the red box on the right side, you see that the price is being referred. And that's the two essential table that our current app is currently referring to. And I would like to pass on to Elliot for the technologies that we've been using.
Okay, thank you very much, Naoto. So yeah, we went for Heroku.
as our cloud platform for deployment. Heroku is a really nice middle ground in terms of flexibility and complexity. So of course, on the front end, we use the legendary React, one of the most popular front end environments in the world. And it gave us some really nice reactive elements to use to make it all pretty and look nice. On the back end, we use Node.js and Express. So this is a classic combo that we're very familiar with. We don't really see any need to change it because it's always suited our purposes really nicely. And moving on, so we have Next.js and PostgreSQL. So this is the database structure that Naoto was just talking about. I'll just say for Connect, it's proven really useful for us because it's really, really readable. At least that's what we think. So everyone in the team can read it really nicely, and it's just been really useful in general. Moving on to the API, of course, we have Stripe. So really, Stripe's just really amazing. I'd encourage everyone to check it out if they can. So you can use things like checkout objects to design your structure really nicely, and it's just worked out brilliantly for us, to be honest. And I would also like to point out DocuMenu, which is an API that I found to try and seed the database with. So obviously, we want to get a working iteration for everybody to see what our app would look like in a real setting. So DocuMenu was really nice because it allows us to get lots and lots of data from American restaurants as per their food items on the menu and the prices associated with those foods. So obviously our app, we want to release it in Japan, so we just converted all the dollar values to yen, and that worked out great. We got thousands and thousands of pieces of data to seed our database with. Now, the challenge is, so Stripe is fantastic, but we obviously needed to get used to it first, which we did quite quickly. That was great. We had a little bit of trouble at the start getting the checkout session to work, but once we understood it, it was so easy to do. Also, because we were integrating it with React, we're not that experienced in React yet, so we had some trouble setting up the redirects in React. And moving on, of course, GitHub. I mean, we're not all super experienced engineers just yet, so we do sometimes have some trouble with merges, conflicts, people pushing, not knowing exactly quite what to do to get the app working exactly as we would like it to be. Time management. So this is a challenge for anyone, but I would just like to say that I think our entire team did a really good job of planning the app before we began. So sometimes I like to jump in. I think I'm a bit too hasty with jumping in. It was really nice having the team kind of like, everybody was kind of like, we should all collaborate together. We should all make sure this is working smoothly, and it's exactly, the overall picture is exactly what we want before we jump in and get our hands dirty. Okay, so this is a challenge for me because everyone else on the team is a super fluent Japanese speaker except me, right? So I can understand probably like 80% of Japanese, but to convey my own thoughts in Japanese is very difficult for me. Luckily, we have some members of the team who are extremely fluent, native level fluency in English. So that was a real, it was really nice for me to have them on the team. So thank you for that, everyone. Okay, so finally, future features. So you saw Kaisei was showing how you can add people to a restaurant group, or when you go out with your friends, you can add them all to a group so that you can all then split the bill. Now, the selection pane for that, it's technically supposed to be a friends list where you can add your friends that you commonly go to a restaurant with, you can add them to a group and go to a restaurant. Now, obviously, to implement a friends list, you need to be able to log in and register your information, right? One thing we didn't get around to actually was transferring the money using Stripe Connect to the merchant. So we would need the merchant's information to use Stripe Connect to send that money to the restaurant or perhaps any other store you can think of that could be used for this. Also, you may have noticed that the bill was split completely evenly for everyone. So in the future, we'd like to implement it so maybe I don't know. Maybe if you were feeling a bit generous that day, maybe it was someone's birthday, they shouldn't have to pay. Different people would be able to pay a different amount depending on what the situation was. And finally, we would just like to be able to send notifications to both the customer and the merchant. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. If you're interested at all, the QR codes are on the screen, as well as the README and the app link to Heroku. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Team Chahan. Fun fact, Elliot was holding a box the whole time he was sitting in the audience. I was wondering what was in that box, and mystery solved. So that was entertaining and wonderful, and thank you very much. So we're gonna welcome our final team for the evening, Team Your Solution. Solution to what? You're gonna find out in just a second. And they are going to be presenting their app, HeyDoc, to you. This app, HeyDoc, is a really good solution for English speakers who live in Japan who want to overcome the language barrier to be connected with doctors in order to get the resources they need to live happily and healthily. So, all right, it looks like Team Your Solution is getting set up. Okay.
はい、ではまずチームチャーハンの皆さん、本当に楽しいプレゼンテーションありがとうございました。リハーサルでは見せてくれなかった面白いデモと話はすごく面白かったです。では最後のプレゼンテーターに移りたいと思います。彼らは日本語があまり得意ではない人に向けて、HeyDoc というアプリを作ってくれました。ちょっと体調優れないなとか、誰かに何か相談したいんだけどっていう時に、すごく誰に相談したいんだろう、どこに行けばいいんだろうっていう悩みあると思うんですよね。そういう悩みを彼らはすごくいいアプリで解決してくれます。では、準備はよろしいでしょうか。
Okay.
Okay, so let's give it up for Team Your Solution.
Hello everyone. Today we'd like to present to you a very special app that we put a lot of heart and soul into, and it's called HeyDoc. It was created by our awesome team named Your Solution. Wait a minute. I know you're already thinking that's a very corporate sounding name. Well, there's a good reason for that, which you'll see in just a moment. First, let's introduce our team. On the back end, as our tech lead, we have Yoshinori Wakabayashi. On the front end, thank you. Also on the front end, we have Ryusei Takezono. And last but not least, we have yours truly on the back end and front end, Lashan Toyota. So if you look closely at each of our team members' first names, you might notice something. Yoshinori, Soshi, Ryusei, Lashan. Your solution. Your solution. Your solution. Oh my God, that's so clever. You're impressed, right? Yeah. All right, so with the introductions out of the way, let's talk about how we created the idea for the app. Okay, so first, our team thought about the lack of health-related resources that are available for English speakers in Japan. If you're a resident of Japan, we're sure you've noticed there are a lot of clinics, like just about every street has one. But the majority of those clinics don't offer services in any language other than Japanese. So although many residents in Japan, foreign residents, can speak at least some degree of Japanese, they may not feel confident discussing medical related topics in their non-native language, and that can be very stressful. So our team wanted to create a way for users to consult with doctors and ask questions from the comfort of their homes and without having to worry about the language barrier. Let's take a look at our persona. This is Jessica Thompson. She's a new mom. She's in her early 30s, and you can see she has a young baby right there by her side. Here are some facts and behaviors about Jessica. Her family's new to Japan. They've lived here for less than a year. And her baby's very young. He's only about 8 months old, and unfortunately, he has a rash. So Jessica would like to get some help for him, but she is a little bit scared to take him to the hospital in the middle of a pandemic because although she can wear a mask, her baby is too young to. So she's worried he might be exposed to someone with COVID-19 or some other kind of illness. Now let's take a look at some more of Jessica's needs and goals. She would like to consult with her doctor regularly to ask some of the small questions like, is my baby eating enough? Is my baby eating too little? Is he sleeping enough? But she also needs to be very flexible because she never knows when he'll take a nap or when he's going to be running around or crying. So with that said, next up, our tech lead, Yoshinori, will talk about the user story and demonstrate our app.
Our team and the persona, Jessica. So to meet Jessica's needs and goals, we created the user story that actually explains the basic functionality of our app. So let's look at it. So first, she's going to look at the doctor's list so that she can choose one nice doctor. In there, she can filter the doctors by specialty and availability. After choosing one doctor, she can look at the detailed information of the doctor. For example, specialty, like dentist hair, or like a description, like I'm a perfect doctor, blah, blah, blah. And also the availability, like Monday, 9 o'clock. After confirming this is a good doctor, she's gonna book and pay at the same time. And then she will receive the confirmation email that has a link to the online meeting so that she can join the online meeting. Then when the time comes, she can join the meeting to consult the doctor. That's a user story. Okay, so let's move on to the demo time. So here is a QR code, which is available for mobile device. So if you like to use our app, you can just capture it. Okay. Okay, so this is our app. The nice logo here with a bunch of doctors' information. Like each doctor has the picture, name, specialty, and session fee. What 5,000 on the end is quite affordable, maybe. Okay. And here's a filter. This is what you said? What happened? What happened? You said?
Oh, my stomach is hard.
Oh, you need doctor? Oh, yeah, you need doctor, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What should I do? Oh, yeah. We have such a nice app. Hey, doc, here. This may be the best timing to use it. Okay, let's pick up one doctor. Like, okay, from here, you need surgery, right? Yeah, you need surgery, definitely. Okay, surgeon. Okay, days, the earliest timing of the next week would be, yeah, Sunday, definitely. Okay. So I'll choose the cheapest, yeah, Dr. Vivian. Okay, specialty surgeon. Okay, he looks cool. And okay, here's the description of him. Roland Ipsum, yeah, it looks perfect, right? Okay, it looks perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna choose one time in Sunday. Well, 11:30. Oh no! I need to have a lunch with my girlfriend. So I will pick 7:15. Okay, here's the payment information page. So I'm gonna type my payment. What?
Oh, I think I'm online.
Anyway, I'm gonna input my information. So here, my name, Yoshinori, and then email. Just paste it, and card number, expiration date, and then security code, then book appointment. Okay, here we go, completed payment. All right, then this moves to the success page. Thank you, Yoshinori. We sent you an email with detailed information. Well, everything seems right. Okay, just to make sure the payment is properly done, I'll check the Stripe dashboard here. Okay, so Yoshinori here, 3,000 yen successful. Okay, the payment is done. 3,000 yen pretty much affordable. Okay, that's good. And also the email should be coming to my email box. Yep, I got the confirmation email. Hey doc, booking confirmation. I look at the email, then here's the nice email like, congrats Yoshinori, your doctor consultation has been booked. Okay, and Zoom online meeting at 7:15 December 20th. And here's a link to the Zoom meeting. So when the time comes, you can join the Zoom meeting to consult Dr. Vivian. Okay, by the way, if I look at my, nothing comes. Oh God. Okay. It was supposed to come the meeting was scheduled here, but somehow it doesn't show up. Anyway, okay, let's back to the email. Okay, we put some information down here, like link to the Hey Doc app. So you can move to the app again. And this app is responsive, so you can use your app in your mobile device, of course. Okay, that's it for demo. Let's back to the slides. So next, Ryusei is going to talk about the tech stacks and the challenges we faced. Okay.
Thank you, Yoshi, for the great demo. I'm actually okay, don't worry. So now I'm going to talk about our app's tech stack. As a backend, we use Postgres as a database and Kinex as a query builder, and Node.js and Express as a server, and deploy to Heroku. As a front end, we use React and Next.js and deploy to Vercel. And this is a basic flow to connect the Stripe API. Basically, we get all doctors' data from backend to frontend. If user pushes book button, it will send a request to backend by using public key, and then backend will send a Stripe by secret key. And the payment is successfully done. All information is sent to Zoom API to create a Zoom room, and all information with Zoom URL will send to a user by mail. Next, I'm going to talk about challenges. For the front end, we use Next.js as a first time, which is pretty challenging for us. And also, we use a Stripe API at the first time. It was so hard to realize things, but after the thing is done, it was so easy to create a form. Next, backend. We spent a lot of time to figure out which API is simple and fits our needs. And finally, solving connection errors with Heroku. So she will talk about what we learned and future features.
Okay, thank you, Ryusei. Can you hear me? Okay, I talk about what we learned from this project. First, as for front, passing data between pages. So before in Sprint or project, we created single page apps, but in our app, it has several pages, so we run passing data between pages. We use router in Next.js and passing data in query parameters. So next, me and Ryusei are not good at CSS, but thanks to Russian, our app has amazing styles. The good user interface included user experience, so CSS is very important factor to create good apps. Next, as for backend, first, separating the repositories for front and backend is smoother. So front team used front repository and backend team used backend repository. So it was easy to manage files we are editing, and we never met conflict files. So next, we are using Kinex and creating database migrations and seeding is very easy with it. Go to next slide. So I talk about future features. First, adding Google Map API to our app. Now, user can search for doctors from list, but they can't know where doctors are, and they can't search for doctors near their locations. So in the future, we will add Google Map to our app. Like this image, we will put map at the top of the page. So users can choose the map and markers around their location. It enables them to find doctors near their houses easily. Second, creating user accounts. Users can register their accounts and log in our app from login button, like this image at the bottom of the pages. So they can manage their booking and consultation they had before. Okay. So that's it from us. Thank you for your listening, and please check our app. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Team Your Solution. That was an amazing presentation. So let's give it up one more time for all of CC16 and J3.
Your Solution の皆さん、本当にありがとうございました。最後にみんな元気な会場でね、終われてよかったと思います。お疲れ様でした。
Yeah, so I mean, I think that, you know, like us, you will be impressed by the things that you saw here tonight. They had just 3.5 days to build what you were able to see. And I'm really impressed with the variety of ideas that they were able to come up with just the simple remit of use Stripes APIs.
はい、最初にも申し上げたんですが、彼らはたったの3日半でこのアプリのアイデアを作って実装してこのプレゼンを仕上げたっていう、ちょっと私もびっくりするぐらいの出来で、ちょっと嬉しいなと思ってるんですが、本当に火曜日にこのお題をみんなに与えて、そこからストライプの API の使い方を調べて、どういうふうに実装しようかっていう、みんなが一生懸命やっていく姿がすごく輝いてたなと思います。
So imagine 3.5 days. Up next for this class is going to be their demo day on January 28th. Imagine what they're going to be able to do when we give them 3.5 weeks.
はい、次皆さんにお会いできるのは1ヶ月後1月28日木曜日の夜なんですね。彼らたった3日半でこのアプリ作ったので、きっと1ヶ月後のデモデーではとっても素晴らしいアプリを作ってくれると思いますので、皆さんもぜひお楽しみにデモデーお待ちになってください。
Okay, so with that, and again, big thanks to Stripe Japan and Daniel Heffernan in particular. That wraps it up for our immersive events for Code Chrysalis for 2020. What a great way to close out a very weird year. So we hope that everyone, you stay safe, you stay warm, and that you have the best holiday season you can. And from all of us here at Code Chrysalis, yo toshio.
これで、このイベント終わりになるんですが、最後にストライプジャパンのダニエルさん、本当にありがとうございました。そしてみんなもよく頑張りました。はい、2020年ちょっといろいろ大変な年だったと思うんですが、皆さんも体調には気をつけて、最近すごく寒くなってきましたので、暖かくして金曜日の夜をお過ごしください。では皆さん、良いお年を。さようなら。
バイバイ。